I've got my capture card here and I'm connected it to my Cluatron. It's still a prototype breadboard piece. I'm gonna try and show off capabilities of the computer right now. So the big struggle in the last few months of development was getting the floating points to work, which I could easily detect if they worked by printing pi, which they do now. It's also double accuracy, it's double floating point. It used to be 32-bit, but with the Raspberry Pi implementation and the compiler implementation, they both caused trouble, so I switched to 64 bits. And yeah, here's pi, and sinus and trigonometry functions also work. So if I now do math.pi and then math.sin 0, this also works. Same for cosinus and tangus, and yeah, those work now. There's also text editor now, so you can. So F1 is your terminal, which you can see here. It also got instructions, which are Ctrl E, which executes your current file, which is in your text editor. Ctrl L will clear the screen. Enter will execute your current command, and escape will stop your program. And stop your program is done with a start, and the read and the implementation of the stop program is done also with a Lua command that's executed at the beginning of the computer. So F2 now shows the entire file that is basically now baked into the computer as of now, which basically shows a small program that shows the capabilities of the floating point implementation and shows how speedy it is. So if I now go back to the terminal, press Ctrl E, we get a little demo that I made. That's fully written in Lua, and it can be controlled with the arrow keys of the USB keyboard. It has a little shadow, and it's on 60 FPS. You can see it's 60 FPS because at the beginning of the file it says D equals 16, which is the amount of milliseconds the screen is updated every second. Right? Yeah, just every. Yeah, so it's 60 FPS. Currently, for the text editor, there's no way to order your text, so you can't use the enters. But I hope to at some point change that up for the next version of the Cluatron. For me, this is basically just the first alpha release, and it's basically been in development since late February this year till early June this year. But yeah, you can also just write one-liner commands. You can, for example, write a whole Fibonacci in one line. So you just do function fib n if n slower than 2, then return n else return fib n -1 plus fib n -2 and end. And now we made a Fibonacci function, so now we can do for loop. So for I equals 0, comma, what, let's say just 15, do print fib I end, and you get the first 15 I think, yeah, 15 Fibonacci numbers. Yeah, I've probably showed off Fibonacci a couple times before, but yeah, it's just an easy show of how all of the integers and the functions stack creation all work. So yeah, in the future I actually hope to first get a new development board working that's basically more future-proof and a bit more stable, that's not on a breadboard. And then I hope to get more software done, like getting support for SD cards, mouse input, maybe game controller input all over USB. I'm also looking into getting multiple USB devices to work at the same time, which I think would be a great addition to the machine, since as of now you can only connect a keyboard, but to get maybe a bit more of a fully developed workstation going, I think it would be great to get in the future a keyboard and a mouse working at the same time. So I'm also going to look into adding a USB hub on my development board. Then there's also the whole idea of sound. In the future I want to actually have the machine be able to produce sound, and I also want there to be a sound editor. But as of now, yeah, that's not really a big priority. But for the sound, I also want to make like a waveform editor and an actual tracker, like on how old music, like how music on the NES, for example, would be made. But yeah, as of now, you can just I basically want for the operating system the ability to use the F keys to basically switch between all of the possible programs that are baked into the machine. So F1 is terminal, F2 will always be the text editor, F3 might be an image editor. There's also the ID currently, as of now, the Lua API doesn't support sprites, so yeah, I only really use lines for game art, but I also want to change that at some point. And F4, yeah, maybe, who knows, there's also maybe the possibility to make a tile editor, and it might sound a bit that I'm trying to rip off Pico 8, and yeah, that's also the major inspiration. It uses the same language API called Lua, but yeah, and it currently also uses the same palette. And the best part of my machine, of course, is and now it's probably an interesting time to show this. If I now do for loop, yeah, you can just do b call. No, we do b call. Just going to do we first make the print color black. Yeah, print color b call equals 0. And oh no, wait, you can also make it white with 7. Because the current palette that is basically just default boots on is basically the Pico 8 palette. And now if we do bcall equals I and print I, yeah, this palette is basically one for one taken over from Pico 8. And we can also bcall 0. Yeah, we can, but something that Pico 8 can do, but this computer can do, is of course change up the color palette. So you can actually just do pal, and then for example, what if we want to change the color of the text that we see now? That's white. What if we want to change white up? So we can just say 7, and then we could just type in an arbitrary number like this, something in between 0 and 32,000, and what we then would get is then it would for some reason turn yellow, like a mustard yellow. Quite interesting. But there's also a function that will actually just give you RGB values between 0 and 255. So now you can do, for example, we want a nice, maybe like a full magenta, we could just do 255, 0, 255. So now the R and B values will be up. And then, yeah, now it's just full on magenta. And if you want, for example, just bright red, then it would be this. Now it looks a bit like color 8, which is also not very desirable. So what if we just made it like very more of like a magenta, maybe a mint color. What? How about that? Or maybe like, yeah, mint, like this. It's just more bright. Wait, I should like, yeah, now it's like a mint color. Yeah, don't really have that much in the color palette. But yeah, you can basically just give it any color, and that's basically something that Pico 8 doesn't have, which I quite like. Yeah, there's also, of course, I've also not really shown off this very much. There's also a triangle command, and I think it's been a while that I implemented it, but if I do 80, then for example 80, 190, 120, 200, and then why not do 240, and then we can also just do the color and we say 8. What will we get? Yeah, triangle. There's something that Pico 8 also doesn't have, but yeah, in the future I also intend to add in a function that will basically have filled in triangles, so you can make like low, this could also be interesting for like making low polygon renderers. And yeah, there's also a rectangle. A rectangle just, yeah, looks like this. Let me just do this in 9. Yeah, here's a rectangle. And yeah, you can also fill up this rectangle with rect fill, which looks like this. And yeah, there's also a circle and an ellipse command, I think. Yeah, circle was done like, I think like this. It is circ, and then you also have circ fill, which is, yeah, yellow. Yeah, I changed the color to yellow, and then you can also just do 11. Now it's green. And I thought I had an ellipse command, but it's been, oh, where did you have it? Oh yeah, oval, the oval command. That's what it was. And this also has a width, so now we can also just say like 80. And because what's also of note is for the circle command, basically the first, the center, basically the position is basically the center instead of like the left upper point. And the oval is like this, is done like this, and then what if we just did like 12? Yeah, that's an oval. And the oval also, I think, had a fill version. Yeah, it still needs to be optimized a little, as you can see. It does show that it's not as wide as the normal oval. But yeah, for example, now I can also just change the color of the oval with the palette, because this oval is now color 12, and I can now just say, what if I just wanted that oval to be just, I don't know, dark, maybe like navy. So now we can just do 0, 0, and then 128. Look, now it's navy colored. This one's pretty neat, I think. So yeah, in the future, yeah, one of the future graphics commands will also be the triangle fill. but yeah, that's just some future ideas. I'm mostly trying to focus on like the functionality of the computer right now instead of really the Lua API.